Hello everyone and welcome to Draw Your Swords, an actual play D&D podcast played with comic artists and writers. I am Sandy, the Dungeon Master, and joining me this week.
Hi, I'm Harry and I play the Halfling Rogue.
Hi, I'm Holly and I play Veda, the Fire Genasi Bard.
Hi, Emily, and I play Fig the Furbolg Druid. And, shut up. Or kid you not, I'm out of spells.
What?
Or a kid.
Oh.
Alright.
Or kid you not.
I have no spells. That's not a joke though, I don't have any. I have...
Use them all to cure
I did, yep.
Yep.
So I'm out of level 2 spells, and I've got 3 first levels. So...
It's fine,
So,
we're having a chill day.
Oh, no.
Please don't make me fight anything.
Well, we'll just
will
have to wait
die.
and see, to be honest.
Well, just don't go punching anyone in the street or anything like that.
Oh wow, how did that TBK happen then? Oh, I just, I used all my spells to cure everyone's hangovers.
Yep.
The most D&D death.
Yeah.
So, last time, we arrived at Sundaria looking for Aoife, Malara's ex-lover and just general friend, wanting to try find where she's gone because she's been missing for the past 7 years and Malara hadn't had the courage to leave until really meeting you guys. You ended up in the Smirking Chest, a massive hotel-like brothel where you met with Acelia Fleur, who made a pretty grand entrance, being an Aasimar with her massive wings behind her, giving her this like crazy angelic look. And she named Veda and Malara and invited you back up to her office, where she said she had not seen Aoife but had a request from Malara to give you guys a little flat where you now live at 1632 Lullaby Lane, where you have a very cute 2-bedroom apartment with open plan kitchen, and it's on a street filled with bookshops, and it's all very quaint and nice. Kind of celebrating getting a new house and wanting to explore the city, you had a pretty rowdy night experiencing Nuvarian cuisine, just all sorts of curries and spicy foods, and the taste of the local ales and wines, and it would leave anyone normally without magical powers of a druid pretty helpless this day, but you awake feeling rather good and ready for the day. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm just gonna go back to bed for 7 hours and have myself a long rest.
Unfortunately not.
Damn it.
I'm going to the library, right?
Yeah. Is that a thing you would like to do now? Is to go to the library? Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think we had anything else we had to do.
I feel like we wanted to look up Agatha the Bearer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That portrait. Is that what we're looking for, or are we also looking for stuff Aoife? Stuff about Aoife? Maybe stuff about the Obsidian Prince? I don't know. Info.
Malara says, well, if we're going to the library, maybe there might be some record of Aoife there. Maybe she got together with someone, or maybe changed her name or something like that, or a job record. There must be some sort of record of her somewhere.
I think
Well-
that makes sense.
Wait, do you know where the library is?
Yeah,
yeah,
we got told where it is.
Yep.
It's like off the main street or something.
Yeah, it's you're in like the merchant district area, and it's in the Lionheart district where basically all the guards live.
Okay.
So.
Well,
Great.
is there anywhere to grab some breakfast before we go?
I'm sure there's tons of places you can grab breakfast.
Nice. I want to try these. I heard some people talking about it on the street yesterday, but croissants?
I don't know what that is, really.
I heard someone say something about it being tasty, so I would like one.
Have you had any like this before,
No?
Veda?
It's a pastry. I'm sure we can find some. I'm
sure we can find plenty
I'm
of
going to go get
pastries.
ready.
I think that'd be a nice thing to have for breakfast.
Well, we can do that for sure. So what are all the things that we're needing from the library? I feel like this is going to be our big knowledge day, I suppose.
I mean, I wanted to look up stuff about Agatha, that woman from the painting, because there's that big vault.
Emlyn
I
just
feel
can't
like it would
stop
be
thinking about that vault.
It would be irresponsible not to open it. I mean, what if it's very important or something?
Yeah, and I'm sure all the people in Rotan could maybe use what's inside as well.
Well, definitely, yes. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Emlyn, do you still have that book that we got from Lilion?
Which one?
The one that had the map in it?
It feels like such a long time ago.
It does.
What was it? A map of the whole
It was a
country?
map of it was like an old map of the world.
Yeah,
the
sure.
continent.
Emlyn's just like a hoarder, so yeah. I don't think they've got rid of it. They're just like digging through a bunch of other shit in their bag, just like weird stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you probably have like some sort of note of that place.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna try do some personal research while we're at the library.
Personal. Okay.
Personal.
Does Fig tell us what he's looking for?
I think he'll just take the book. If someone asks, then yeah. But I think he's just gonna.
Yeah, I think if
Is
Fig
that-
is like, hey, do you have that map? Where is it? And then just takes it, Emlyn's gonna be like, okay, that's just yours now. Why do you want the book? What are you looking for?
Well, remember there was that big tree, that was on the map, and that's
Right.
supposedly where people who look like me are from. So I was maybe
you're gonna
gonna
look
try
for
like
Big
cross-reference.
tree information, yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense too.
No.
Veda, is there anything you're gonna look up? If you're back from changing.
He's just like yelling from the other room. I'll help you all find the things that you're looking for, and I just want to get more of an impression of the city, see a little more of it.
Okay. Well, I am not ready to go into the city as me yet. So does anyone mind if I like jump on your shoulder as a squirrel or something? Or mouse?
They might not want you in the library if you're a mouse.
But I'll be in your pocket. It's all small and nice.
Do you not want pastries? Or do you want to eat the pastries
Oh.
while you're a mouse?
I mean, it'd make it bigger, it'd make it last longer.
I mean, you can if you like for traveling, but I kind of think that maybe you shouldn't be a mouse when we get to the library. You know,
Okay,
to be able to open the books.
Yeah, well, I can pop out the forum when we're somewhere that's a little less busy. I just don't want to be in big crowds. I'm too big. I'm too big for
That's
big
fine.
crowds.
There's other large people walking around. Also, you may be better being big because then no one can step on you.
True.
We'll be with you. You won't be on your own. We won't let you get lost.
Mm.
You can do whatever makes you most comfortable, and we'll buy you a pastry either way.
If you eat the pastry as a mouse, it'll last a lot longer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Does that happen, or do you not just like eat it as a mouse, and you're just like, damn, still really hungry, even though I ate that huge pastry?
Well, I don't know if a mouse could eat a whole pastry.
But do you
I
have
think
like
Fig
Fig's
could try.
appetite? Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I would like to think so.
I think that makes
Hungry.
sense. It's
Well,
not like
also-
the pastry gets bigger in your stomach.
No.
Someone's just
also-
watching while this mouse eats an entire 3 courses. Like, how? How?
Where is it going? Yeah, well, like...
Maybe you eat it and you get really full as a mouse, but you can only eat
Well-
a really small amount, and then you turn big and you're like, damn, my stomach's so
Yeah.
empty now.
Well, he does say that when he transforms, that's what makes him so hungry all the time.
Oh, mate.
It takes that out of
We'll
him.
save the pastry. You can eat it before you go into the library.
No,
Yeah,
I
you can't
think I will...
You can't eat a croissant in a library.
Like maybe the last one we went to, or
Oh, that'd be
probably
the
not this
worst.
one.
Yeah.
That's like the worst food to eat in a library.
It really is. I mean, yeah, the last library you were at was like a Furbog library where they were just like putting tea on everything, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also because, like, you know, whenever we see other furbolgs, they always look at me funny, and I don't want other people to look at me funny. And there's a lot of people that will look at me funny, so it just
If it makes you
nervous.
more comfortable, then you can change. We'll take you with us.
Okay. I'm just gonna burst into little. I'll be a mouse.
A mouse.
And I just land on Veda's shoulder.
What does Fig the mouse look like then? What kind
He's
of
like-
mouse?
Are there types of mice?
Yeah.
I
Ratist.
mice. I know rats. I don't know mice. I'll be a rat then. He's a Dumbo-eared rat.
Okay.
And I think he's like those white sort of Siamese-looking mice. Rats.
Rats.
Rats. So he's like a Siamese one. So he's got the little brown streak on his nose, and I think he's got like little brown spots, other than like white spots. But he's a nice-looking rat. Nice and clean-looking, like a fancy rat.
Fancy rat. Okay.
Yes.
So what's everyone wearing on this winterish day in Sundaria? You bringing like all your stuff with you? I'm assuming not, right? Unless
No.
Emlyn the hoarder just
Yeah, I mean,
bring, because you got the bag of holding, right? So
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Emlyn probably does bring the bag of holding. I guess I always imagine them as wearing like armor underneath their jumper.
that's fair.
Maybe they're still doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Veda?
I think Vid'll just wear like her normal outfit and with her like her coat that she got for going up the mountain.
Okay, so just
Wear that too.
cool.
Maybe have a scarf wrapped around her neck that Fig can snuggle into.
Yes. He's very much like in there.
I mean, if it's a cold day, Veda's a good choice for a person to sit on her shoulder because you can like snuggle up in her scarf and her hair, which is like all warm,
Yes. Lovely. Good choice.
nice and toasty.
Yeah.
I feel like Emlyn maybe just like has the hair tied up, but otherwise just doesn't look that different. They still got like a lot of knives just hidden about the person.
You're just like on the bed, just like hundreds of knives, and you're like, which one? I'll just take them all.
Yeah, like slowly like, secreting them about their person.
Yeah.
Fig's just like when he's not a mouse, he's just in his normal armor. It just changes, just like goes away, and he turns into a mouse.
So are you?
What's Malara wearing?
Malara will wear their normal like traveling clothes, like armor. They are bringing their. She's bringing her battle axe because doesn't trust this big city.
She's a barbarian. I feel like in like walking around a sort of big city like this, like everyone's just kind of wandering around with like weapons and shit. Like it's not weird to do that.
Yeah, it'll only be weird when we get inside the library, maybe.
Yeah, most people, especially nobles, will have rapiers.
Yeah. So Veda fits right in
Yeah,
with a
so
rapier that she uses once in a blue moon.
so yeah, is everyone bringing all their like equipment and prepared for anything kind of shit?
Yeah.
Okay then.
I feel like Emlyn like looks chill though, because they have a bag of holding.
They look
Yeah,
Like
like
secret weapons.
Just don't
Everyone's
think
just
knife and put
traveling
your
like-
hand in.
you think knife and put your hand in, it's just like, ah, fuck.
You just come out, your arm is
Right.
gone.
Yeah. Stabbed 30 times.
No, they have knives like you know, in like the movie where everyone has to like remove all their knives before.
Yeah.
going.
Oh yeah, there's always that.
Yeah, like strapped to their legs.
There's always that one
In the
guy that just
top.
keeps going and going.
Yeah, that's Emlyn.
Yeah.
It's a good
Okay.
visual gag.
Yep.
Perfect for a podcast.
Okay.
Everyone can picture that.
I mean, that's kind of what this whole thing is, right? It's just like
Yeah.
makeup shit. So
Such a good mental image.
yeah,
Tiny little Emlyn with 500 knives.
they literally just build like the throne from Game of Thrones just from their
Yeah.
swords.
It looks like they're wearing just like metal armor, but when you look close, it's just hundreds and hundreds of little knives.
Little knives in like chainmail links.
Yeah.
So heading out, you see your cobbled street, very tight, narrow streets. You see people with their windows open, smoking out, drinking coffee. This probably the smell of old books and freshly brewed coffee hits you as you go outside. As there's people now opening their stores, putting stalls out on display. Some people just putting some carpets or rugs on the floors, putting some books on top of those and sitting down, and general conversation is now being had all around. It's quite a busy bit as you're like in the main section of the town. Going through, you can easily pick up many different types of pastries if you so wish. They're all various bakeries and lovely places to go. I'm actually...
Oh my god. Fig and Veda are like ratatouille pastries. Fig's is like controlling Veda, like, oh, they had that one, that one.
Just pick up a selection for him.
Yes.
Okay.
Pointing with his little rat hands. He can do that. Rats have like little fingers, so he can point at things.
Gross.
They're cute!
Yeah, rats are great.
They are
I
great.
feel like I would be more comfortable with having a rat on my shoulder than Veda is. Because I've had pet rats before and they're awesome. But
They're
yeah, I
awesome.
think Veda's a bit like, God, I just look so weird right now.
Being judged.
Trying to hide Fig in her hair.
Yeah. She's only doing it because it's Fig and she wants him to feel comfortable. She's just like not really into having a rat on her
Like,
shoulder.
imagine like being at a bakery and you see this really beautiful Genasi come out and then a little white rat arm coming between the strands of her hair pointing at pastries.
Yeah, so you pick up a good number of pastries from the Moonlight Bakery, which specializes in all sorts of various cakes and lovely treats, coffees, and
little
teas.
cakes?
Of course, there's little cakes.
Lovely.
You know,
And then complains about the prices, but then buys pastries anyway.
all these big cities with all these huge prices for basic
Yeah,
coffee.
exactly.
It's like, oh well, I need coffee though. So you have. Are you sitting in, or are you taking away? What's the?
Well, I feel
Are you
we
going to
can-
go to a park and like hang out for a little bit?
I feel
Oh,
like
that'd be nice. A little picnic.
maybe eating and walking, especially because Vader maybe like wants to get a sense.
Y'all are gonna be
You
so
have to get to another
crummy.
district.
Okay.
Yeah, Fig's eating pastries. He's not sitting on Veda's shoulder while he does it. We'll find a little bench to sit on for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, as you head more towards the Merchant's Run, like the big, long street that reaches like most of Zundaria, where all the hustle and bustle is. You know, you got trees up the middle, and just carts and people and all this hustle and bustle of moving. You do find a bit off to the side where there's a nice little garden where there's a nice tree and some shrubberies. There's a bench in there, and you kind of sit down. Is anyone, Veda? You said you're like trying to get a feel or a vibe of the city, right?
Yeah, she'll just be taking everything in while she walks around, and also keeping an eye out for like any sort of busy square kind of areas.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Ooh, not one.
Ooh.
Okay.
She's
Good
really
roll.
distracted
First
by all
roll.
the rat crumbs on her shoulder.
Yeah, there's just like a pan of chocolat stuck in your hair.
Get off.
Yeah, there's just no area that you can see. There's no squares, really. There's just so much hustle and bustle everywhere that it'd be hard to maybe set up something like that. It's a very intersecting roads, maybe in the center of this bit, but people might not see you or hear you as it's so very loud. But yeah, there's not tons of places you can go for that kind of thing.
I was gonna ask if Emlyn like notices anything different from when they were last in the city.
Okay.
You know, if there's like, oh god, everything's more expensive. It's more gross. everything's really clean. I don't know. I feel like they don't really know anything about the current political or like wider situation, but
Sure.
probably notice little stuff like that.
Make a perception or investigation.
I'm gonna go investigation.
Okay. 10 for investigation.
Okay. Maybe they don't notice stuff like that.
You don't notice a huge change. It's still a very, very busy city. There's still tons of trade. Things have increased in price slightly, but you're not sure just because you've been in a cheaper place or it has gotten more expensive. And
They definitely think stuff has got more expensive.
yeah,
They're walking around being like 10 copper for like just like randomly pointing out prices and just saying them in a really outraged voice.
I remember my day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there's not much around. But you do notice while you're sitting on the bench that there's a strange carving on the arm of the seat. And it looks to be some sort of thieves' cant.
Yo, what does it say?
It seems to be a meeting and like dropping off place where people can maybe drop off goods that they've stolen, or this is a place where to meet for that kind of where a fence might be to sell stuff for. Has Emlyn dealt with any gangs or anything like that before in Zundaria, or was it?
I feel like maybe it would be fun for them to have,
Okay.
but maybe not like they were deep in the system, but just like unwillingly they had to sell stuff to
Okay.
groups that they wouldn't. You know, like once or twice maybe in the past, like they didn't really want to be associated with them, but when times
Mhm.
got desperate, like maybe they did have to make a couple of points of contact.
Okay. Yeah, the one that you're looking at right now, is why you noticed it, is from a group called the Horned Skulls. And you've run into a couple of them before, and they're very, very well presented. They normally wear like really, really fancy suits. They normally have pocket squares, cufflinks, walking canes, all identified with antler horned skull, like a human skull with antler horns. And you know, most of them, they run bars, and that's why you had to get involved with them, because you were trying to sell your meads and things like that. But they're the owners of these places, and they will want to know where all their stuff's coming from. So you know that's what that is one of the Horned Skulls meeting places.
I don't think Emlyn like mentions it to anyone else, but like takes a note.
Okay.
I don't think they want to be involved.
Yeah. That's cool. Just as a note that you know where a fencing place is if you so need it. So, having some pastries, having a look around. Fig, is there anything that you're doing?
I'm just eating pastries, just having a great time.
Okay.
Making a real mess of Vader's shoulder.
Oh no, you're sitting on the bench.
Oh, okay, cool. He's just like a little rat, you know, eating all the chocolate first from his pan of chocolate.
Do you burrow through it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
He just just eats his way in. He's small enough, I feel.
That's very bad. Thanks.
Vader presagitations him before she puts him back on her shoulder. Get
just-
chocolate off his little rat face.
You just pick him up and he's all fat and chocolatey.
Cute.
So cute.
It's pretty cute. He's still getting cleaned up though.
He does that thing when you pick up a rat and it starts spinning its tail.
I have
There's
no
like
idea.
helicoptering around.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Damn
Try to
rat
find
jokes.
purchase.
Yeah, it's like it looks like their tails are little helicopters, like blades
they do.
spinning around. And they're just trying to like grab onto something. It's very cute.
Nice.
Tuck him back in.
Okay. After having your morning breakfast. Malara does seem to be a bit more worried. Veda, you can easily read Malara's. She doesn't hide anything. She can't. She sucks at it. So you can easily just see through that. She seems a bit, nervous about what's happening.
They'll hold her hand while we walk.
Okay. As
Give her a
you're...
little squeeze.
Okay. I think she gives you like a knowing glance as well, just to be like, fuck, I'm about to find out some information, hopefully. As you're walking down the street, Veda, as you're keeping an eye out for places to, stand up and talk, potentially, or busk, or various things like that, you see that standing on a bunch of boxes in very specific corners are kenkus. And you've seen the kenkus before, holding up one of the Raven Express on their hand, and the voice, so that the kenkus have, all sound the same, and you can hear them now billowing out as you're walking through. Breaking news. The traitor Longgear the Giant, execution to be held on the King's Day, just 5 days from now. And he just keeps repeating that over and over again. These maybe 3 foot tall black raven kenkus.
When we go past one, Veda will give him a silver and take one.
Okay, hands it to you. It goes into detail that the king has made a decree that for his celebration on his day, that he will execute the traitor Longgear, who was captured in the previous week by Bram Griesen, the captain of the guard on Winstata, and all the other people that was associated with him as he was trying to raise an army, apparently.
Veda just kind of has a look at it and it's like, that doesn't seem very festive.
It's very anti-Christmas of him.
Christmas?
I feel like you giving us this news just makes me want to free the giant. Just because in the story we're being delivered the news, I'm like,
Side
should talk to them.
quest.
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously I need to go save a giant from a prison. It's like, who knows? We'll see what the library takes us.
I mean, I can turn us all into farts, so...
Oh, that's true.
Stop trying to turn
break
everybody
into
into
prison.
farts.
Yeah.
I'll make you farts one day, guys. You'll see.
One of these days. Yeah, Malara says, well, I feel like none of us really wants to celebrate King's Day. I think, not our kind of thing, so maybe we should do our own little thing, a celebration. Maybe? Like a friendship day, or...
That sounds much nicer
Valentine's.
to me.
We could just get like a bunch of food and drink a lot and hang out. Maybe, I don't know, play Never Have I Ever or something. I don't know.
Fig never gets a drink at all.
Oh, how old is Malara?
I mean, no, she's like 30 something.
Oh, she just hasn't left home a lot.
Not really.
You just see little rat Fig's face just like behind Veda's hair, just like nodding at the food.
I super can't remember it. Did Emily actually buy a present for their kid for King's Day? Or was I just like, might remember to do that?
I think
It's not in my notes, I'm really sorry.
I think you said that you wanted to, but we hadn't done
And
it.
then just didn't.
yeah.
That's very Emlyn. Okay. It's gonna be like the day before and I'll be like, fuck.
We haven't really had much time. We were too busy getting dinner and then getting trashed, so...
That's true, yeah.
We've only been here for like half a day.
You see Emlyn like covertly like writing something on the back of their hand as you mentioned King's Day, as they're like, fuck.
Yeah, because you said like you up in Eridan that they don't really celebrate King's Day. They have like a different kind of festival because they're so separated from the Empire.
Yeah,
right?
they definitely like call it something else, but there's still a festival around that time.
Yeah.
I think,
So let's see. Is anyone being observant as you head towards the new district, the Lionheart district, or are you just kind of focused on going to the library?
I mean, Veda will be trying, but it didn't go so well.
Okay. Yeah, you can make another one as you're heading towards there, like crossing the main streets and everything. 11.
Can I say I have my eyes out for danger?
Danger.
Danger.
Sure.
Scary say.
Yeah.
Do I roll a rat stats?
No, you keep your mind, so. You're
Okay, good. Rat stats. Well, 24?
good. Rat stats.
Rat stats.
Okay. So as you're
Ratception.
Veda, you're trying to take on the whole city, but it's just a completely different feel to everything, and you're trying to take in all the information at once, and it's very overwhelming to just see everything, all these races, and that you hate everything, basically. You know, with the
Every time she sees a like flag or something of the king, she's just like, ugh.
yeah, and it's everywhere, especially because King's Day's coming. So there's like bunting,
Yeah.
there's like cakes in the window with like the crest. You know, any guards that you see, and especially on the main road where you just see the palace at the top of the road. So it's just beating it into you.
She just keeps getting distracted by all her anger.
Fig, however,
He's just looking into the universe.
you see off to the side, heading more towards Lionheart District, just before you enter into this section. There are still shops and various bars and restaurants, but down one of the alleys you see 3 men punching someone on the ground. It seems to be a dragonborn and 2 orcs beating up a tiefling on the ground. No like clubs or weapons, just with their fists.
I was
I'm
gonna say that
going
Emily
to-
is like looking out for the horn skulls or whatever, or like now that they've seen that thing. So I don't know if that's like at all relevant.
Sure, you can keep an eye out as well.
Okay, I will. This is gonna be a terrible idea. You feel it? I'm gonna jump off Vader's shoulder, and I'm gonna run towards him and turn into a big ass panther and roar at them.
What if the person being attacked is terrible?
You still shouldn't beat someone in the streets,
Like,
Emily.
you don't know what they've done. Like,
Yeah, well,
What a chaotic neutral thing to say.
no, right? Maybe they deserve it. Maybe they deserve to be kicked in the head.
Veda just feels Fig jump off of her shoulder and turns around and sees a panther just appearing as if from nowhere, and she's like, fuck.
So
So yeah, I'm gonna roar at them.
okay. You roar at them.
Can panthers roar?
Yeah.
Ow!
Meow.
Ow!
As one of the orcs punches the guy one more time.
Punches a panther. Just wails on it.
You see that even though it's pretty cold, a lot of them are just wearing t-shirts that are pretty muscular. They have tattoos all over their body.
Gym bros.
Yeah, and you see that one of them's wearing like a knuckle duster, and all their designs are quite like Aztec, very very sharp angles, and they're pretty much just covered in blood, and this guy's just lying on the floor, not moving. And he turns to you and like kind of squints his face. All 3 of them kind of tense their fists and they go, "What the fuck's that?"
Just run away. Just leave. I'm a fucking panther.
Are we there? Are we like close?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how far away did he have to go?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Are they not scared? Can I
Roll intimidation.
intimidation? Do I get advantage because I'm a panther?
Yeah. No, I think you doing the roll is enough. Okay.
Would I roll the panthers? What are mine? Oh, because I'm not intimidating. Yeah. That's a 10.
Let's see. How do they react?
Can
Punch the
Emma
panther,
be
knuckle
hurrying?
dusters.
Where are they?
Yeah, at this point, like, Veda's just kind of like grabbed a hold of Emlyn's arm and being like, that panther is big. I think we should go over there.
Yeah, like, can we be rushing towards the
Yes.
situation?
Okay,
Do we arrive in time to say anything before anything happens?
there we go. Okay,
Ugh.
so one
One of them shrieks.
of them one of them starts like backing away, and it's a closed off alley. There's no way in and out. You've got the main section here. As Emlyn and Veda start rushing in, one of them's backed up against this guy is not moving, who's on the floor just bleeding. What does everyone want to do? They're not immediately attacking you guys.
I would like
Is
to
it-
talk to them.
Go for it.
Yeah. Oh.
Hi, just wanted to see what was going on here. Actually, Emma's trying to like move their hand toward Fig to be like, stop.
Yeah. I was
Sorry,
gonna
my
say,
panther got
like-
away from me.
Veda like sort of walk up beside Fig and kind of just put her hand like on the scruff of his neck and like hold on to him as if he's like her panther that just got away from her all of a sudden.
I'm so rich, I have a panther.
Yeah. And Malara obviously falls behind as well. The Dragonborn just looks at the four of you and says, "None of your fucking business. Just get out of here."
I feel like Emlyn's instinct is just to be like, well,
Yeah.
you heard them.
Okie dokie.
Best head off.
How far away
Maybe they're
is the
looking for everyone else's reactions.
How far away is the unconscious guy from me?
About 20 feet.
Oh damn it! I was gonna see if I could like extend my neck to like grab him.
You kill the man.
No.
So is the guy unconscious?
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's on the ground, flat out, bleeding. Pretty.
Does he look like armored and dangerous and huge? Or
Nope. He looks like a lowly merchant fellow. He's got nicer robes. He's
Is he
got like a no, the guy on the floor is a tiefling.
right, sorry.
He has a bag over him now, just covered in blood. They don't seem to be robbing him or anything. They're not taking anything from him. It just seemed like a beating of some kind.
Veda will keep her hand on Fig's like neck and just say, "Don't you think he's had enough? Maybe you should leave him."
Make a persuasion check.
Can she have advantage because she's holding onto a panther?
Looks so much cooler than holding on to a rat.
No, I say if it was intimidation, then yeah, but I think persuasion.
22.
Oh, yes, Veda.
They look at the guy on the floor. They spit. One of the guys spits on him. He says, "Yeah, I think we're done for this now. Right, guys, let's get out of here. Don't make it happen again." He looks at the guy on the floor. And they walk past you.
Once they've gone, Veda let go of Fig and walk up to the unconscious guy and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
I'll follow Veda.
Fig just
See.
bites his
9
head.
healing.
9 healing. Okay. You begin to see his wounds start closing up. His eyes flicker open, still swollen slightly, and he kind of coughs up. Oh, thank you.
Are you okay?
Not really. Better now.
Yeah, Veda will put her hand out and help him up.
And he brushes himself off. It looks to be a nice dress, apart from now being a bit tired. A red tiefling with massive curling horns that spiral twice, with nice gold caps on the end. They would probably be worth a good amount of money, so they obviously didn't look for this person for robbing him. You can see him brushing himself off. Well, thank you, I suppose. Can I give you anything to pay money?
What was going on here then, exactly?
Who are those men?
Oh, you must be new to town or visiting, I suppose?
We are new to town. We arrived yesterday.
They're part of a gang called the Bloodied Fists. And very, imaginative name, as they just punch the shit out of people, so...
For any particular reason? Or
Well,
just if they like the look of you?
they mostly run fight pits. They hired bodyguards to protect general stores, run bars, breweries, that kind of thing. And I've not paid them protection money because it's hard during winter to produce enough customers. There's so much competition nowadays that I just didn't have the money.
What do you do?
I'm a scribe mostly, and I sell brand new notebooks and various other kind of books. But not much of a market for it nowadays. I've had a hand in cartography as well.
Where's your shop?
My shop? Oh, it's just down the road here. I thought it would be smart. Everyone's all up in Lullaby Lane and all the books and things there. Too much competition. I thought I'll get a small place. But no one really goes to the side for books. They come to the side for bars.
You say you do cartography?
A little bit, yes. Not much.
Maybe if we need a map, we will come to find your shop.
Wait, I'm gonna turn back into me.
Roar, as the panther says.
Yeah, Fig turns back into Fig.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you have any old maps? Or do you know anything about old maps?
I did study them for a little bit, yes.
Oh, maybe you can help me. I sit next to him. Is he sitting? No, he stood up, isn't he?
Yeah, he's standing.
Okay.
Wobbly and covered in blood, but yes.
Well, only if you have the time to help.
I'm not doing much right now.
Maybe I could go with this guy and you guys can go to the library and I'll meet you there.
Maybe we should stick together.
Yeah. Come with you because you turn into a panther again and start getting involved in things you shouldn't.
He was
Yeah,
getting kicked. What's
you
wrong
might-
with helping someone?
Nothing's wrong with helping someone, Fig.
Emma
maybe-
does not reply.
Maybe you shouldn't wander around on your own, though. So we come with you.
Okay.
Well, if there's a map or something I can look at now, or you can come by.
Yeah, I have it on me. And I'll take out the book and open on the page of the big map with the big tree.
Big map with big tree, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, do you know what this is? And I point to the tree.
Well, it's a tree. And is there a specific thing that you want to know about it, or the area, or?
Yeah, do you know where it is?
He investigates it, and this map just has the continent of the Zundarian Empire on it, but it's not called that anymore, or back then. You can see the Toscana Sea. You see 2 massive craters and a large tree. He says, well, from what I can tell, it's probably Canagar Woods, but I wouldn't go there if that's where you're going.
What's the Canagar Woods?
And Emmeline, you've heard of the Canagar Woods. It is a place where a lot of people wanted to build through paths so they can get to Evenwig and Grossenvig, on the far east side of the continent. But every time a road was trying to be built, some strange thing would happen and render it not possible. And every merchant that tries to go through there to save time ends up going missing. So people just avoid it entirely. And he regales this information to you, Fig, saying that, oh yes, the strange happenings in Kanagar Woods, strange creatures. You know, people wanted to settle there. It seems like a great place to settle. Lots of woods, lots of animals, lakes, mountains, but there's just something strange protecting that place.
Does anyone ever say what kind of strange things?
Well, they normally don't come back, so half the time, no. Mostly shadow things, you know, things to scare your children, mostly. But I've never been there. And most of it is unmapped. People just assume that it's full of woods.
Great.
I feel like Emlyn doesn't want to go there, but I am personally incredibly interested. What a great story. Oh, every time they tried to build a road, it didn't work.
He says, well, from if that's what normal maps would suggest, that's where that is. Very strange map that you have there. Looks pretty old.
It's an older book.
Well, that would make sense then.
Yeah, thanks for your help though.
Well,
And
thank you.
I give him some gold. Give
How
him
much?
5 gold.
How much?
5.
5 gold?
Yeah.
Is
that not enough?
We just saved him. What are you doing?
Well, he helped me, didn't he?
But we just saved him, so now
Yeah,
we're
but-
even.
No. He doesn't owe me anything for helping him.
Alright. Emlyn's never gonna give Fig any money ever again.
Yeah. The merchants being merchants, he takes the money, nods his head and says, well, if you need any more cartography stuff, let me know.
What is your name?
My name is Visden,
It's nice to meet you, Viston. Do you want... Oh, wait!
and I'm full of wisdom.
I have some good berries left, so I will hand them to him. I just pour berries into his hand.
Emlyn is watching incredulous.
I feel
Ethan,
like
to
when
make
the
you feel
guy
better.
said that his name was Visden and he was full of wisdom, Vader's face just dropped. He's like, oh god, this guy's an idiot.
I cast Fireball.
Yeah, I give him some berries.
Yeah, with gold and berries in hand, he makes his way off. Says, well,
That worked out very well for him.
he's gonna have one hell of a breakfast.
I just like wave goodbye happily. I didn't think I gave him enough.
Fig, you give him plenty, don't worry.
Fig,
Mm-hmm.
you can't start getting involved in any fights you see in this city. I know that you meant well, and in this case, it seems to have turned out fine. But what if those people are part of a much bigger gang? And if all of those people decide we're their enemies, then we'll just be out of the picture and we won't ever be able to save anyone else ever again. So do you see that in the long term, it would be very bad because we might be dead?
But we're not their enemies, so can't we just explain to them that we're not?
That's nope. This isn't. You don't understand this city, and all right, neither do I necessarily, but better than you. So just trust me on this one here.
Well, I don't know how they do it in the city and stuff, but I can't just sit by and watch people get kicked. It's not right, and it's mean. So
I'm not saying that that's not true.
Emlyn's right, Fig. You have to be careful in cities. You don't know who you might be confronting. Maybe
I
just-
don't like cities.
Just don't jump into the fray. Maybe talk to us first, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just take a little minute before hopping into anything, because if we can get a lay of the situation, it might be a little bit better. You know, if a wolf is eating a rabbit, you're not going to really intervene with that, and sometimes that's the case in these places.
But a wolf eating a rabbit's just nature.
Well, this is kind of similar.
Emma's just nodding, like, what a good analogy.
Fig's just like, what are you guys on about? It's not the same.
Well, maybe just take a moment to think before acting is all, okay?
Fine.
Or ask us before acting.
Now I'm all out of animal shapes. How far are we from the library?
Yeah, you can't be a rat on my shoulder anymore. You have to just walk.
And that's your own fault for helping people.
How far are we from the library, Lara?
From what I can tell, we're pretty close. We're on the far side of the merchant district.
We're not like 60 feet away from it.
No.
Damn it. Okay.
Why?
He was just gonna go invisible and run.
Maybe just walk at a normal pace with us. I think is probably the best thing to do.
Just Fig running through the city.
Yeah.
Invisibly,
Knocking
invisibly
people
running
over.
through the city.
Yeah, you're still big and invisible, like.
Oh wait, and I'll use
Fuck's sake.
I hope we don't actually get in a fight because Fig is literally going to be out of spells
I
any
know,
minute now.
and
No,
then
it's not.
in the
It's not.
library, like,
It's just some basic furball magic. I'm just gonna change my look to be a normal sized.
Emlyn is just gonna have to, you know, at a certain tipping point, just sort of abandon hanging out with you guys and going back to being a fence. Depending on how bad the situation goes.
Mhm. So
I'm just turning into a human. It's
you're
fine.
turning into a human. Okay. What does
Yeah.
human Fig look like?
I'm just an old man. No one looks at old men.
Okay.
Is it like kind of like a strangely unusual old man, so that people do still look at him in the same?
Yeah, he's like an old hippie.
Does he look like your dad?
Yes. No. I think he's got like long, like brown hair, little beard,
Okay. Does he have
and
freckles?
like basic clothing. Yeah.
Okay.
He has like big splotchy spots.
Covered in liver spots.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Okay.
And I try blend in to the old man
Aesthetic.
aesthetic. Yeah.
Okay. So, how
And I
tall
will
are you
see
now?
how well I do it. Oh, let's say 6 foot.
6 feet. Okay. Yeah. Make a performance check.
Ooh, I did deception. Okay, performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Natural 20. I am the best old man you've ever seen.
Nice. I mean, you
It's
can
very
you can never
impressive,
dance,
like,
but you can
Ridiculous.
do things. It's good
I
shit.
can be an old man.
dancing performance check, it would have been like a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Old.
now you have to do an old man voice.
Ooh. Yep. I got it. Don't worry.
Call everybody young whippersnappers.
Oh, you young whippersnapper, you. How do you think I got to a natural 20
Yeah, it's
if
true.
I'm not calling people young whippersnappers?
Emlyn is absolutely furious about being called an old whipper, like young.
Old whippersnapper.
Yeah. That's it though, because that's what they are. An old whippersnapper.
Come along then, young whippersnappers.
As old Fig leads on the way, even though
I've
he
got
doesn't.
my staff
That's
out.
true.
He starts
I
marching
watched it.
forward, but he doesn't actually know where he's going, so he has
He's
to
just
kind
going.
of steer him.
So as you hit into the Lionheart district, the amount of guards increases tenfold. This seems to be a more residential area for the guards. The buildings are very uniform, with 3 stories and made of sandstone. Over the peak of these buildings, you start seeing the spires of the library. So, to to give a little bit of history for the library. Veda, you know this already. I'm assuming Emlyn might know as well. But all major libraries, their origins are a mystery. It's unknown whether or not settlements were built around these libraries or libraries sprouted up because of the settlements grew large enough. There's also a mysterious race that looks after these libraries and are feared by all. Most clergy find the place unholy and start a new collection of books, similar to the books where you met back in Lilion. But their knowledge is either very specific, like the one in Lilion was mostly about furbolgs and plants and trees, but no one ever comes close to these kind of libraries. Approaching this major library, they generally sport a Gothic-style cathedral look, with long, detailed spires, very intricate stained glass with visage of Eldritch Nightmares. This particular library has 3 spires at the front entrance and 1 on the back, standing hundreds of feet wide and hundreds of feet long, with round stained glass, picturing a hooded figure reading a book, and people are tacked with tentacles from the abyss, all being beautiful lit by the winter sun.
Neat.
Are you heading inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
Entering these massive oak doors, there's multiple entrances. You enter, and you are incredibly underwhelmed. A small room, around 15 by 15 feet wide, with a door parallel to where you've just entered, books lining all the walls, and a table with 4 chairs sit in the center, and a brass bell with a wooden handle carved to look like a tentacle. What do you do?
Is there anyone there?
Nope.
Okay. Vida will walk up and ring the bell then.
When the bell rings out, a voice answers back. Welcome. An attendant will be with you shortly. And you all hear this inside your head.
Ooh, that's mighty scary.
I don't think Emlyn's been in this kind of library before. I feel like they just buy nice books.
Yeah.
Steer clear of this kind of place.
Is there a library like this in Sisan?
I think so.
Yorgorn?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're world known. There's probably a couple in the entire Zundarian Empire. But
So none on the island where Emlyn is from.
no, definitely not.
I feel like that makes sense.
I feel like Veda's been to one before, so she's like, yeah, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm chill.
I'm cool. I know what's up. So as a few moments pass, the door opens. A hooded figure steps forward with green robes, with Drain's symbols on them, a ring of keys on one side, and a belt on his belt, and a book on the other. He says, "Weapons must be left here." He looks towards Emlyn. And any magical
Emlyn-
bags of sorts.
Emlyn doesn't have any visible weapons. They put the bag down. And where is there a cloakroom for the bag? Or...
I can take it from here. I just don't want things going walkabout.
Vidal, hand over a rapier.
Thank you.
Fig drops his Furbolg magic and hands over his 2 staffs.
He
I don't
puts...
think Emlyn voluntarily gives up any knives. Unless, but they're maybe watching the hooded figure in case they just no.
Yeah, he puts Fig's staffs, Malara's battle axe, and Veda's rapier into his own bag of holding, and looks towards Emlyn. And you can't see a face. There is no face. There's just darkness.
Emlyn is holding out the bag.
He takes it from you. Thank you. Anything else?
Vader might nudge Emlyn.
Alright, I guess. Emlyn hands over like a dagger.
He takes it from you and puts it in his bag of holding. And says, "Well, what's Emlyn's facial expression? I should say." Right now?
Just like trepidation. I don't think they're actually very, they're not actually very charismatic or deceptive or any of that stuff. So I think a little bit like rabbit caught in the headlights.
Yeah.
Maybe not that convincing.
Make a deception check to see how well that you're actually doing it.
Yeah, I feel like they're just like watching to see the figure's reaction.
Yeah.
Because if they that's a 4.
The room gets darker.
Oh my god.
Like
If the room gets darker, Emlyn is probably gonna start being like, oh, okay. And just like taking out more stuff.
just like money and lint and everything. Just take it all.
No. I mean, they keep their money hidden.
Okay.
I just imagine them going into very small pockets, just pulling out a stream of knives,
Yeah, just like tiny daggers.
like a magician's handkerchief, but with
Yeah.
knives.
A whole short sword that was just like down their back.
Yeah. He-
Holding them very upright.
he-
Just thought they had really good posture.
Emlyn is suddenly like 2 inches shorter.
The figure takes all the weapons, puts them in his bag of holding, and takes your bag, and says, "Right then, in we go," and opens the door. And now you are met with this gigantic image of a cathedral type building. But instead of pews, there are just rows and rows of books. In the center, gathered around a massive pillar, are tables filled with people and books. You can see people off looking at books and taking them to smaller rooms for private study. The pillar in the center, as the old man explains, is some sort of kiosk of mystery. A tall old oak door faces you, and on the other side, Veda will know, lies the librarian.
Oh, so he's not the librarian?
He is not.
I mean, it's called the Kiosk of Mystery, so we'd better go. Does the guy like explain what the librarian is, or no?
If questioned, he says, "The librarian knows all. If you seek something, he will know it or point you in the direction. And if you are not supposed to know it, they'll tell you."
What, he knows like everyone, like everyone's everything, like everyone's secrets and stuff?
If it lies within the library, you'll know.
Do we have to take a ticket or something? Or queue? We just sort of ask.
Knock on the door, and they'll answer.
Okay. He's gonna head towards the door.
And you see a couple more of these hooded figures wandering around, putting books back and sorting things out. It's not, they're pretty scary, but seem to be helpful. You know, someone's trying to reach for a book, they'll grab it down and give it to someone. Like, they're just, you know, into dark
Friendly.
shit.
Spooky.
Friendly neighborhood Eldritch accommodation.
Yeah,
Type of figure.
exactly. As
I want to go to the door, and I'm
I
gonna
also
knock
want to go
on
to
it.
the door,
okay,
Yeah.
but more warily than Fig.
Fix is like, yeah, okay, let's meet some new people. Knock, 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 knock.
you knock on the door. The door slowly opens, and lying in front of you is just a void of darkness. A face appears, almost floating in this ethereal smoke that has a face like a plague mask, but fleshy
Ugh.
Gross.
and dark and filled with an eldritch green glow, and looks towards you.
That's
It,
horrifying.
its mouth doesn't open, but you hear it inside your head. What do you want?
Hey, so I'm looking for books about the Carnagar Woods cross-referencing Fae stuff. You know? I tap my fingers together.
So confident. It's on a mission.
Yes.
ILH. Subsection 3.
I just like point in a direction.
You get this like flash of images in your head that exactly know where it is.
Cool. Okay, thank you. And I head off.
Can I talk to Veda and Malara?
Mm-hmm.
So, Malara, you were going to ask about Aoife?
Yeah.
And Veda, were you going to ask the librarian something in particular?
No, I just came along with you all. I don't
Well-
have a particular question.
I was only going to say, would you be interested in maybe asking him about the Obsidian Prince? Maybe they don't have anything, but just in case they did.
Okay, I can do that.
I don't know how it works. I guess Emlyn is assuming everyone just gets a question, and then they're going to go off and do that. Okay. I guess Emlyn also wants to talk to the librarian.
You gonna go first, Emma? Is there
Yeah.
something particularly that you wanted?
Yes. I think they don't really know whether you just like ask one question or whether you're like generally asking where the books are. Is anyone else asking the librarian questions?
No, it's just you three. Like, there's you three talking with each other, and then this like ethereal floating plague head just in the door.
Okay.
A fleshy crow.
Yeah.
Emlyn
Ugh.
tentatively approaches. Hi, not entirely sure how this works, but I was trying to find out where the weapon of Agatha the Bearer is, the Night of the Setting Sun, or if you had any records about her.
He says, Knights of the Setting Sun, few have written about them, but you can find information in Aisle F. You'll see an encyclopedia of houses, and they shall lie there. Records of Agatha the Bearer are in Section C.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, and I hope you have a very nice day. Emlyn leaves. I think they go to Aisle C.
Okay.
To find out about Agatha the Bearer.
Beta, is there anything you want to ask?
Malara, do you want to ask first?
Sure. I have a couple of questions first. I am looking for someone called Aoife Lorisi, and want to know if there's any records of that name. I know that she did come here maybe in the past 7 years, whether she's been married or anything like that. Well, let's go with that to start with. Yes. There is note of that. Section C. Look for the census of the past 7 years. It shall be there. Sure. Is there... Do you know of anything else? Or do I just have to do the research myself? That's what a library is for. Okay. Cool. I guess I'll go over there then. You could just tell me, but that's fine. And she goes off and says, do you want me to stay with you, Veda?
I'll come find you.
I'm going to be in subsection C. Veda?
Do you have any information about someone called the Obsidian Prince?
Those records have been made off limits.
By who?
Authority of the king.
Yikes.
When did this happen?
From my record, 50 years ago, roughly.
Can you tell me anything else? Or is that also off limits?
Off limits. Do not seek this knowledge. It will end badly. I may not have physical eyes, but I am always watching.
Okay, thank you.
Library heist. Library heist.
Great, I'll just go and find Malara.
Okay. Where you find Malara, you find Emlyn as you're all looking in the similar section. We're going to go to Fig and see what Fig is up to and what
Okay.
books you are
In my
looking for.
sad section, everyone's having party in section C.
Yep.
Yes, I would like to read about the Carnagar Woods.
Yeah.
See if it's like any recorded activity or any higher or like lore of the Feywilds being connected to it.
Mhm.
See if and see what like the lore is and what all the like the ghost stories are of it and stuff.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Uh-oh. Sure thing.
A game
Investigation.
about rolling dice.
Oh, 16!
There you go.
That's not bad.
So,
He's on this.
how does Fig pick books?
I honestly think he goes by interestingness of the cover.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, from the spines, you see just tons and tons and tons of books. There's been a lot of information about the Carnagar Woods and people trying to investigate it. And there's a lot of fiction and tales around it as well. And you begin cross-referencing things. You take a large section of books and just take them with your hands, plop down on one of the tables, and start looking through.
I feel like he's sit on the aisle floor.
Okay, so you just piled up books all around you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's made like a little nest.
Okay. Sneaking pastry in as well.
Yep, of course. He's like got books in one hand and a pastry in the other hand.
Yeah, so piling up books all around you, you start flicking through, and you find that Carnagar Woods is definitely somewhere of interest that people think is way more magical than it should be. There has been tales of sightings of stranger creatures than you would normally see around. Moving trees that are slender rather than like a normal bulky tree. Some talk of fairies that are not normally around. And Fig, as you start cross-referencing things, you actually get stuff on Feywild. Although most of it is children's books.
Mm-hmm.
But people swear that they see these things. They see women in lakes that have drawn lonely merchants into their demise. And that seems to be a common thing, is that they just get trapped in there. Or anytime that a road's being built, you see some planning of roads through Carnagar Woods that have just spent tons of money trying to cut down trees, but trees just come back. And
Is there...
Mhm.
Sorry, is there any like drawings or anything in them?
in the kids' books, yes.
Okay. Fig sort of like gets like a... Is there any like empty pieces of paper, like note paper and pencils and stuff?
There's some on the desks, yes.
Okay, he's gonna draw out what he remembers from his childhood, like a big mountain next to a big lake. And
Okay.
he's gonna see if any of them have any sort of resemblance to the drawings that he drew, even though his drawings are not very good.
Okay, you're trying to cross-reference whether there's a big lake and a big mountain.
Yeah, like next to each other.
Okay. From the maps that you could see from like the planning of going through, some people from Ebenvig have definitely noted a lake with like a beautiful vista of a mountainscape in the back, which would make a very nice holiday resort, but you just can't get the planning permission for that.
Does it planning permission? Does it have a drawing?
It's mostly just descriptions and no real drawings, and nothing really that would really match. But there are some in the children's books that are vastly like fantasy drawings. You know, there's ones with like unicorns riding across lakes where there's beautiful mountainscapes in the background because it's very striking. But other than that, that's probably your best bet would be these children's books. But I mean,
I feel like Big feels that if he goes up to Emlyn and Veda, like, look, I have like some sort of proof. It's a kid's book. He's like, no, they're not going to do that seriously.
But yeah, there's notes of things about Carnagar Woods are mostly in writing, and like any plans they're very like blueprinty plans and not like look at this beautiful picture, as no one spent a long enough time to really map out everything perfectly.
Is there any stories of furbolgs living in those woods?
I don't think so. Yeah, you could make another one. Let's say
find your parents. 20. Oh, he's on it today with these books.
Okay. Getting a bit frustrated because you don't want to go up to Emlyn and Veda being like, kids book. You take a moment to think. I need some sort of furbolg proof. That like this might be where I'm from or something similar. This might be somewhere I'm from. And you start looking through the shelves again, trying to find something like that. And pretty close to a lot of the information about Carnagar Woods is a small book about the to's and fro's of being a furbolg.
That's such a wholesome book.
It goes into some culture of furbolgs in that area, where they have a more connection with the forest, and it seems more of like a druidy book, and talks about how to craft certain things in a furbolg style. It talks about how to prepare food for the masses, or ones with lots of mass. It talks about all these various very furbolgy things. It was written probably about 100 years ago, this book, from what you could tell. And later in the chapters, it talks about the variations of furbolgs, where you've got the ginger ones, the blue ones, the brown ones, and it kind of goes into the variations of furbolgs. And there's one that says, but we all came from the same clan. We're all clansfolk. And it has a drawing of a old, very scraggly haired, deer-like furbolg with eyes kind of half shut, very, very old, holding a staff.
Is it male or female furbolg?
It looks to be a male.
Okay. His little head kind of twitches and his ears go. Does it say anything about this guy?
No, it does not.
Okay. I'm gonna close the book.
Okay.
Then make my way to Veda and Emlyn.
Okay. Veda and Emlyn and Malara. So, Emlyn, what are you looking for in particular?
I think I went to the section that was actually about Agatha
Agatha the Bear.
herself.
That's right. Okay.
So yeah.
Make a investigation check. See what you can find. 14. 14's not bad. You take a couple of books out, start flicking through, and some are censuses, some are you can see books about the knights in particular, and you start reading through it that these were some sort of holy order of some kind of Lathander, like a subsection that would do very, very specific things, but later down the line that they just got forgotten about and no one wanted to use them. They were some sort of special forces of Lathander's army and then had to make their living as bodyguards mostly. And you find Agatha the Bearer, as she's written her name in a census of some kind, as Agatha the Bearer. And it says her address in it. But it doesn't have a room number. It says cell 105. And it points towards a direction towards a not so nice part of town that you've sometimes heard to avoid. It's called Brockley Grove.
Okay. Have I?
Grove.
Have you heard of it before?
Yeah.
So make a history check.
Did I watch Biker Grove?
Okay, 14. Having this information, you go and actually look and try to remember. And you know, and actually having an encounter with the bloodied fist, even just today, this is where fighting pits are. So she seems to be in some sort of fighting pit cell or arena or living there. And that's been in the past year or two that census has been out for.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna makes a note of the address as exact as possible and the cell number and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. For Malara, she looks towards Veda and says, "I'm not very good at looking for these kind of things. Can you help me out a little bit?"
Of course. Do you want me to look?
It would probably make way more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, you can roll with advantage.
There we go.
You go.
17.
17. Okay. Taking a bunch of books. Veda's very much in her element, I feel.
Yeah. Just quite happy.
Yeah. You start looking through all these books. And you're very good at going through different tables looking for this person in particular. And you find her on a registered wedding certificate that was issued. It says, Aoife Lorsil, now married to Gregory von Muthuyk, the perfume merchant. And Malara Malara rubs her head. Why wouldn't she just message me or something that, she was married to a Gregory?
Maybe she didn't know what to say.
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't marry someone called Gregory.
Not generally interested in men.
Not typically, no. There must be something else. Like, is there some sort of job records or like a birth or record or something? Maybe she had children. As you continuing looking through this, Malara sees, oh, he's dead. And she shows you a note of death, as it was signed by Aoife as proof of his death. It said, died of an aneurysm, and was signed by a Dr. Margaret Wunderbark.
Is there an address or anything? Maybe we could find her and ask her what happened.
Let's keep looking and see if there's an address. I'm trying to go through some censuses and various things. You find that she was married a second time to Hector Semolis, a wine merchant. Having a couple of the books open, flicking through them, it seems that he has also died. Alcohol poisoning, so it says. And signed again by the same doctor, Dr. Margaret Wunderbark.
Have you...
Oh.
Do you have Black Widow spiders in Zundaria?
I don't think so, but we might now.
Maybe.
This seems a
I
bit...
guess that would explain why she might marry some men if she's not actually interested.
I mean, I'm all okay with extorting people, but killing them?
I'm not saying it's right, but you can see motivation, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Is Emlyn in the same corridor, right?
Yeah, I think you're...
Same bit in the library.
Yeah,
Files.
yeah. I think you're probably reading books on tables rather than figging it on the floor, unless that's the way you want to do it. But
We all have such
Faking
questionable
it.
morals.
I feel like Emlyn is just interested in what's going on, and maybe instead of being sensitive toward Malara, is just well, maybe it's the doctor she got together with, or maybe she's a vampire, or maybe she's getting bodies for the doctor to dissect.
Malara looks at you and just nods her head maybe.
When did Hector die?
From what I can tell, about 2 years ago. And this Dr. Margaret, she's done lots of, autopsies and various things.
Has she been married again?
Let's have a look. Searching through more and more. Make another investigation check with advantage because you're all helping. I feel like Emlyn's now perked up and is also going through things.
22.
Okay. Searching through, taking a couple of new books, just ensuring that you're going through everything, different censuses and various things. You find that Aoife changed her name to Isabella Eufsison. And then, after that, no other record.
No other record of Isabella?
No. No marriage, anything. And as you're searching through, the autopsies done by Dr. Margaret Wunderbark stops.
Do they stop at the same time she changed her name?
Pretty close by, yeah.
What is the last sort of known address for either of them?
The last known address is, if you're looking for stuff specifically for Dr. Margaret Wunderbark, you do not find anything. There's no record of her other than the signed death certificates. The last known address of Isabel Eufison is a property in the more Noble district. A nice small manor, it seems, in the Light Garden district.
Okay, maybe I'll take a note of that. Place. And also the names of all these people.
Okay. What do you think happened? I feel like there's a mystery or something here.
Maybe this doctor doesn't actually exist, and it was her signing things.
Maybe?
But I don't know. Maybe, well, I think definitely seems like she's something of a con artist. But
I mean,
she was investigating.
She was very good at getting money from clients, or even more money from clients than she was supposed to, or without really even doing much. So it wouldn't surprise me. She was a bit of a rowdy person, very fun and outgoing, and would just be up all night and partying, drinking, having fun. But it's just something just doesn't feel right anymore.
We'll keep investigating. We'll figure it out. Are you okay?
I was hoping that, I could just see her and it would just be normal and be like, oh, wow, you have a nice little place here. We can have a cup of tea, catch up. Oh, the reason I sent you stuff, I was bad at handwriting. I got lost in the mail, or mailmen, right? That kind of catch up. But now I think she's in some trouble.
Well, we'll see if we can find her. At least we have more to go on now than we did before. It's progress.
It is. And you notice this person sitting across the table from you, about 10-15 feet away, arms crossed, a portly, balding man wearing noble attire, although his demeanor is anything but, as he wipes his large crooked nose on his billowing sleeves. He heads towards you guys in his gruff and commoner accent from a low town. He seems to be taking... he comes up to you guys saying, looks like you're going through a couple of record books. Anything I can help with?
No, I think we're fine, thank you.
Are you sure? I know lots of stuff around here. If there's anything that you could ask for, I'm the guy to figure out. Name's Iskis the broker. And he puts his hand out as you saw that's where he wiped his nose on.
It just looks at his hand and doesn't doesn't lift hers.
Yeah. And he puts his hand through his balding hair and rubs it back. Well, I know pretty much everything that a librarian knows, but the thing that a librarian doesn't know is the stuff out on the streets, and that's where I come in. All I need to know is who you're looking for, what do you want to know, and how much you're willing to spend. And I know everything. Just name a price, and I'll tell you the information.
Vadel glance at Balara, kind of shrug a little bit, well, it's your call.
What do you know about Dr. Margaret Wunderbark? Huh, well, that's going to be expensive information. Malara takes out a small bag of money, puts it on the table. Does that seem enough? He looks through it. Yeah, why don't we go through to a private room? And this time, Fig, you come over and you see them speaking to this man.
Hey, does anyone have any more pastries left? I ate all mine, and I'm still kind of hungry.
I don't have any. You're not really supposed to eat in here, I think.
We'll
Yeah,
pick up some more when we
if
leave.
you like. Yeah.
As you head into your private room, there's a couple of books in here. A ink pot, quill, some paper. He sits down. You gather around the table. He says, Dr. Margaret Wunderbach was a person of particular interest, an older woman, lives up in the Light Gardens district. Don't know how much you know about the town, but the Light Garden district is where all the big wigs of the clergy like to stay, and that's what she was. She would be the one who would deal with mishaps and murders and various things, but people got a bit suspicious of her when more and more people went missing or died or something, so they put her on a bit of a suspension the next couple of months, or past year or so, I think now. So she hasn't done anything in a little while, but she has enough money to keep her going. She's very high up and has friends in high places. If you want any particular records, you're going to have to go... He points towards the ground. There's a secret vault of books and records that are kept here. Ordered by the king, you see. He feels that the librarian is strong enough and much more of a deterrent than any other library or bookkeeping place, so he keeps them all here. You may have seen those creepy hooded figures with keys around their belts. It's almost enticing that you want to take them. But you could. If there's something very, very specific and juicy you want to know about, that's the place you go. Because sometimes my word is just not good enough.
Fig leans into Veda and goes, "Who's this guy?"
Iskis the Broker is my name.
Fig kind of looks at him like, "Oh, he heard me? Oh. Hi, I'm Fig."
Nice to meet you, Fig. Almost taking a mental note of that name and of your appearance. As he looks
Just
you up
smile
and
at
down.
him. Smile and wave.
Is there
I
anything-
want to see if this guy is shady AF and is telling the truth.
Okay, make an insight check.
Insight. 14?
He is shady, but he is telling the truth. He doesn't seem to display any lies on his face. He says, if there's anything else you want to know, please let me know. He says, what about this Isabella Eufsison? I think she's a friend of ours. And Malara puts more money up on the table. He nods and takes it. From what I've heard, there was a secret wedding between those two a while ago. And now that Isabella has now moved in with Dr. Margaret Wunderbach, they haven't been seen the past couple of months. They've been very, very, very quiet. People are getting suspicious. You know how the nobles get? As soon as they don't come to one meeting or one little get-together, people start talking. And do they talk?
Crime wives, crime wives.
Is there any other questions or thoughts that you want to get out there? How does Veda feel about it in particular? Like,
about this guy or like?
Just the general situation with these, you know, basically your girlfriend's ex now being like a murderer slash, I don't know, something strange like that.
I think she's just curious more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, maybe a little bit kind of happy about the situation so far because she was a bit like kind of expecting to just find her and then Malara be like, okay, cool, well, I'm gonna go be with her now, so see you later. And she's kind of like, arsehole.
Yeah.
But she's just kind of mostly just like curious, like it's quite interesting and
Okay.
kind of weird, so she wants to know what's going on.
Okay. I feel like Fig has no idea what's going on, but
No, he's got mind on other things.
Mhm.
Pastries.
so I think that might be a good place to end it, and then we can have a thought of whether library heist is a thing or not.
Who wants to turn into a fart? Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel like literally everything that we found out is very exciting. It's a forest that no one comes back from, very exciting. Crime wives, extremely exciting. I don't know about going to the fighting pits, but you know, obviously Emlyn wants to.
And we know
also,
that the
the
Obsidian,
Obsidian
Prince.
Prince being forbidden information means that my interest, not that I wasn't interested, but I wasn't super interested in like getting onto that main quest really fast.
Mm.
But the more forbidden it is, the more interesting
He's
it
a
is.
naughty lad.
Just turns out, guys, libraries are cool.
Support your local
They're
library.
right.